I am starting today in Fairbanks, Alaska, and I'm gonna wander my way east. And if you're a fan of this channel, I'm gonna try to do this like I've done some of the other videos where I kind of try to see what every dot on the map is from point A to eventually point B. And might be a little bit different in Alaska. I've never been to Alaska before, and I'm curious as what some of these little dots on the map look like. I got my Delorme, Atlas, and Gazetteer, and there's a lot of dots today on the map. And so let's get out on the road and head east and see what we find. Our first stop is the North Pole. It's an actual town here in Alaska, and I actually did a video on the North Pole, Alaska already. It's a busy highway here. North Pole is always very busy, but yeah, if you want to check out all about North Pole, Alaska, you can watch that video. I'm stopping in here on the way east to drop off some postcards to my executive producer members, and so that's one of the perks if you end up being a member. So yeah, this is where I dropped off the postcard so it can be stamped there at the North Pole. I stopped there at the Air Force Base because they had some cool, I don't know, a couple cool things to take a picture of or a video of, and the guy came running out asking me if what was I doing taking videos or pictures of the airplanes up in the sky. I'm like, dude, I wasn't. I just thought it was a cool looking building. So he's like, oh, okay. So they were really worried about me. Our next community that we're going to visit here is called Big Delta, and as you can see here, right at the confluence of a couple of large rivers, and we're going to go into the historical park here in Big Delta. So we've been on Richardson Highway, and this, it says there, the Gold Rush Crossroads, because this was along a pack trail that the Army built in the late 1890s, and then when gold was discovered in 1902 in Fairbanks, this trail became very important and much more traveled, like the old telegraph station there. And so originally this was known as McCarty, is also known as Bates Landing, and this roadhouse right here was very significant, and it changed hands a couple times. It eventually landed in the hands of a Swedish girl named Rika, so it's Rika's Roadhouse. And then you know, the community continued to, you know, grow there in the early 1900s, and pretty busy from the 19-teens until the 1940s. And they eventually built the road that we've been driving on, called the Richardson Highway, and that was, you know, not too long after gold was discovered. So a very beautiful area, as you can see, you know, large rivers and pretty wide open spaces. Cool to find a nice historical site here on the trip. It's interesting driving through these towns, like Delta Junction there was a lot of stuff there, but it's hard to know if there's anything really historic. It's more of a junction, 2 roads, and it's a convenient place to shop, get gas, those kind of things. That there's buildings that look old, but even the modern buildings are kind of like log cabin type looking buildings a lot of times, so hard to know. There might be more there than looks initially driving through, but mostly this is just a real scenic drive, and it's been along that river. Now we're heading a little bit more north, and we'll see if the scenic drive continues and if we find any old towns. I've seen more cars and traffic than I expected. It's busier than a lot of, you know, like western Kansas areas, but I also think it's because there aren't very many roads, especially when you look at the map. There's like a couple roads, so you have to go on these roads. There's not really anywhere else to go. There's not like 2-lane back roads. The back roads are just not, you know, there hardly aren't any at all. So yeah, it's more traffic than I thought, especially being in a sparsely populated place like eastern Alaska. Decided to take a little detour down the dirt road to the village of Tanacross and found it to be very interesting. It was started in 1912, post office opened in 1920, and a school opened in the 1930s. And it was originally called Tanana Crossing, and now it's called Tanacross. And in the 1970s, the village burnt down from a big grass fire spread out of control. But a lot of cool buildings they've rebuilt here. And there's a nearby airfield that was used during World War II, and thousands of troops were deployed through this airfield here in Tanacross. What was this place? This is Beth. Beth, what is this place? MukLuk Land.
That's the big $64,000 question, and what we have had to try to explain all these years, because a lot of people just think it's a kid's place, and it is things for kids to do, but also we try to give some Alaska history, and my husband had a lot of ideas for unique collections, like this cereal boxes on the roof right here, and doll collection, a can collection, engine collection, heater collection. We have cars, some snow machines. So now you decide, what is MukLuk Land?
It's just interesting. That's what I think it is. This is the Taylor Highway, and it leads through some of the earliest and richest gold mining country in Alaska, starting here in Tetlin, and about 160 miles away it ends at Eagle. We're going to go about half that distance to finish up our trip today, and once again going through some of these historic areas where gold was discovered as early as 1886. It's been an interesting drive. There is nothing out here. There are no houses, no buildings. From kind of once I got onto the Taylor Highway, there's nothing, and we're almost to our destination for the night. But it's been scenic, a little rough, but nothing like the Dalton Highway of driving to Prudhoe Bay. So after doing that, you can do anything. This is a few bumps in the road, Alaskan potholes, which you see everywhere anyways. So it's been a fun drive. And after about 8 hours of traveling today from Fairbanks, we have found our destination of Chicken, Alaska. That's right, Chicken, Alaska. And as you can see, as we pull up, there's some chickens. That'll be in the next episode. Stay tuned. Hey, you made it all the way to the end of the video. And now that you're here, let me tell you a little bit more about all the other things going on this channel. If you want to become a member, you can become a member on either Patreon or YouTube memberships. There's 3 different levels, and as you are on a different level, there's more and more things, behind the scenes videos, different things that you're going to be able to gain access to. Make sure you check out my website, travelwithawiseguy.com. There's a whole bunch of new stuff on there. There's a merchandise link with some new cool merchandise. There's a newsletter that you can sign up for. About every 3 weeks I send out a new newsletter that's free. I have Google Maps, which has documented every place that I've made a video about, and you can click on there and you can go to the map and you can find the videos that I made, and it's all in one very convenient place. There's lots and lots of other stuff on there, so make sure to check out the website and explore all around what I got going on. But once again, thank you so much for watching this video. And now on to the real reason that you're at the end of this video, the outtakes. Dot Village. Really good. Still going. Keep searching. For about 10 minutes. It's very bumpy.